name is Dr. Joseph T. Robinson, Jr. I'm in ministry, outreach ministries, with a community development focus. Well, the business model, it's a green skills, new entry aftercare model for returning citizens, people who are formerly incarcerated, currently under parole, probation, supervision. So we cater to working with that specific population. We have a system in place that vets the individual. We already know we're working with people who have criminal histories. So when we get them, we have access to their backgrounds and stuff of that nature. And the reason why we're doing this is particularly because formerly incarcerated people have challenges finding gainful employment and permanent employment. So the goal of our ministry is to work with that specific population, train them, certify them, and empower them to become productive citizens back in society. We know we're working with formerly incarcerated people, so we have an intake, assessment, eval system in place that lets us know the level of risk that the individuals are, because for us, it's public safety first and foremost. Number two, it's fair human justice for successful re-entering back into society after a person has done their period of incarceration. So we have relationships already developed with these individuals. So we pretty much know their character, their demeanor, their value systems, their belief systems. So that allows us to engage these individuals and work with them safely. Well, we see this being a national and international initiative across America. So this is the first of its model being stood up that has been successfully stood up here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Grand opening scheduled for June 20th, stuff of that nature. So our goal is to stand this model up across the United States of America, particularly in urban centers and rural communities. Being a formerly incarcerated person myself, I know the challenges that I dealt with after coming out of the prison industrial complexes of being a black male, being a father of children, being a husband to a wife, not being able to take care of my fatherly duties, my manly duties, my husbandly duties, just the mere fact of me being able to take care of myself, pay my bills. It was a challenge. So God blessed me through the means of getting involved with some local churches that were really serious about improving the quality of life in the communities where they were doing their church services. And so from there, when I came home from the prison systems, I happened to go by a local church, and from that day my life has never been the same. So it's not the religious element, but it's the spiritual element that grounded me and allowed me to realize the newness in life and to realize that I could live a drug-free, crime-free life and productive life, become a tax-paying citizen, become a homeowner, become a good father, good parent, a good role model in my community.
Well, my name is Todd McFarland. Well, like I said, I'm 53 years old. I have 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. They being 33, 27, and 15. The youngest one being the girl, and of course the boy's in the middle. Well, anyway, I'm a mechanic. I do heating and air. I'm a plumber. I can do a lot of different things, but right now, you know, just out here in this world out here right now, just kind of chaotic, you know, finding jobs and everything's crazy too. I'll get into that in a minute, but right now I tell you, just, you know, out here trying to survive right now. And things is going so, you know, could be better. That's why I'm here at Ppre Green right now. Yeah, I was incarcerated one time. I caught a little 4-year charge, about 4 years, and did some time there. And of course, you know, that creates a little problem there in your life when you're getting out of jail and things too, you know, in the job world, that is. So yeah, I done some little time. I was incarcerated, and of course that changed a lot of things for me. on the mechanic, it happened when I was young. So therefore, my work history wasn't as long as it is now, of course. But the thing is, I didn't have too much a problem finding jobs per se, because the economy wasn't as bad as it is now. But I stayed pretty busy before that. I could find a job pretty fair, pretty decent. It wasn't too hard to find a job. But when I got out from being incarcerated, oh, all that changed. You're knocking on doors. We'll call you with no callbacks. All the time. I experienced that a lot. I'm working with Ppre Evergreen under Reverend Robinson here at Ppre Evergreen. He's given me a pretty nice position here, working with the company, and it's been great. I'll tell you, I took on a lot of duties as far as responsibilities. Learning different things. Right now, I'm head of the plant, so now I have to organize everybody together, get everybody set up every morning, set everyone up on their machines, get them trained right for the machines. What I do is we take the inventory, we line them up, we have them separating the plastics, different commodities, weighing them out, scaling them out, and they're doing a great job too. And we teach them how to operate different equipment in there. Everybody learns how to do everything sequentially, where everything's safe. We have to have safety attire and everything. And the guys, these guys that's coming in here, most of these guys, incarcerated, formerly incarcerated as myself. And so, we offer them different opportunities as well, because now they're learning a trade and a skill, whereas out in the world, you can't hardly find a place that's going to train you or facilitate that by, with money as far as you working and getting training. So right now, that's into play. We get the opportunity to teach them different skills along the way here as well. So right now, it's working for me because I really didn't have all these skills what I have now. As far as, and of course, being in charge, I can learn, these other guys, teach these guys how to do it as well. And so, it's been really a great experience to just be in this position, and of course now the guys that are here now, like I said, most of them are formerly incarcerated as well. So now we're getting this training, we get these skills where we can apply ourselves. From learning these skills now, we can take them anywhere else we go in the world. Well, I tell you what, it's been a great experience for one thing. But he came to me, like I said before, he met me through just looking for some guys. He saw me on my front porch, and he drove me off my front porch. He asked me a few questions to see how I responded. And I guess I responded enough to the point where he gave me an opportunity to bring me in, because he was looking for some reliable people during the time. And so I got in that way, and now it's been one of my best friends right now. I can tell you that. And of course, coming here, he's learned that I have a little discipline about myself. So he allowed me to be the floor manager. So now I'm running the shop here, and I'm really feeling good about that. Rev is a real good friend indeed, but one hell of a boss too. Now this model here that he's got going now, oh my goodness, he's done a great thing here. Now this particular model here, he's going to take this model and be able to take this and use it as a scale for other models across the state or the United States, wherever they set them up at right now, because he is putting everything in order right now where this can help. You got different programs to help people along the way as well, like housing, of course, unemployment part of it, training skills, you name it, anything to do with hard times when you're getting out of out of an incarcerated situation. And Ppre Evergreen right now is offering that. This model here is one of the premier to me models that I've ever even seen to come up like this right here. I've never seen anything like it. In fact, it impressed me so much. That's why I stuck with it and hung in there for him, because I want to be a part of something like this.
Well, I'm originally from Bamberg, South Carolina. I was born in Atlanta, but I was raised up in Bamberg, South Carolina. Moved to Charlotte when I was like 8. The phrase that I messed up. I moved to Charlotte about 8 years ago. Yeah, from South Carolina. And I've been in South Carolina before then. Got in a little trouble with the law, 16. I got in some trouble, caught a charge of robbery, and did a little time. Got out, I did like 2.5, got out, and I became a maintenance manager at a McDonald's. Did that for a while. Did that for a couple of years, but I wanted better for myself. And then I decided to get a warehouse job, working, driving forklifts. Then I became a forklift driver. Then I ended up being a warehouse supervisor. But I was always temp, never perm. Finally able to come perm. They ran my record. Then, due to the charges, they ended up letting me go. And then from there, it just been hard for me. I would apply places, get jobs, be on the jobs, then, they would end up letting me go due to the fact that I had a history. But I just kept on working, kept on trying, and kept on trying to have 4 kids. I ended up making 4 kids, have 4 kids. 12-year-old, 4-year-old, 3-year-old, and 2-year-old. Yeah, I was always a worker. I was a working guy. Before then, I used to work with my granddad. He had his own company. So, I started off young working, always hands-on. I never could say I don't think I don't remember when I never started working. My granddad had his own, he had his own club, then he had his own watermelon field, but then, he passed. But then beforehand, I worked for him for years because he raised me. My mom died when I was 3. So, that's kind of how I ended up getting in trouble as a youth because I didn't have my parents in my life. Grandparents, they were older than me. And then, they tried to teach me the right things, but they was just a little bit too young. I was a little bit too younger. And, it just ended up getting in a lot of things in trouble. But I always was a worker. I got out, but then I ended up getting in some more trouble after I got out. Just driving charges, then I caught a couple of assaults, fighting, just had a temper problem. So I ended up going to anger management, getting probation, going to anger management for that, taking some drug classes to help me with my drug problems. And then, I just rehabilitate myself. And then, then that's when I end up meeting Joe Rev, the owner of the Ppre. Actually, I met him through a family friend. He knew someone that, someone I knew him. And he was talking to them about his program. And they knew I had just got out of jail. And I was trying to change my life. I needed a job to support my family. So then I called Joe and put me to work. And, I always been here, since day one I was always working. I ended up getting a good position. Been working with him for over a year. On and off, on for over a year. Yes, it's helped me out a lot. It's better me as a person, a man, because, it teaches me more about responsibility because he gave me a title. And he gave me a responsibility, so it's not all about me, it's more about us. And working with him, he taught me that, we can all be one, Used to have get in a lot of trouble. And he's willing to work with you, There's not a lot of companies out here willing to work with people who have had trouble in their past. And he's willing to give you a chance. If you can show and prove that you're a good worker, then you can always have a job. And that's what it's about, making jobs and helping out people who've had trouble in their past, who's trying to better themselves. And this program has helped me better myself, physically and mentally. It's better me. And I think it could do a lot for other people too. He's coached me, giving me positive, talk to me about the Lord, put the Lord in my life, help me talk positive more about being more in the church. He's taught me stuff like that, but I always been able to kind of assist myself because I've had it hard, but it haven't been easy, but it hasn't been to where I had to stand on the corner with a homeless sign. So, I can say that he's helped me a lot. He coached me and taught me to better myself as an individual, He's talked to me, when I see him talk to a lot of these guys, and he talk positive. He's a positive talker, positive thinker, and I do appreciate him for that.
I was born and raised in Charlotte. I've been a native. I have a 6-year-old son, and that's my life. That's my heart. Right now I'm still kind of living with my mother and my father due to the situation. But I mean, I'm just a happy-going person. I like to stay focused a lot. You know what I'm saying? I like to keep busy. And when I'm not busy, I wind up doing things I ain't got no business doing when I don't stay busy. Just as much time I can spend with my son as possible. He's growing fast. He know too much. So any free time I have, if I'm not trying to do something positive now, I make sure I have my son with me. Basically, what this is teaching me is patience and sacrificing. You can't get nowhere without sacrificing. And it teaches me that because I have to put up with mess and drama just because I'm doing it for him. So that's the only reason why I deal with it. If it wasn't for that, no. It was something that I couldn't. As growing up, I was sheltered. I was a sheltered child. Like my mama just kept me under her. Like I was very sheltered. And so by the time I really got to high school and could just what's the word I'm looking for? When I got into high school, I got with the wrong crowd. Like I could associate and make friends quick. I love to mingle and get to know different people. And in that, I would always get to know the wrong people. And leaving from that, I wound up on the same path when I finished high school and just started going through a lot of mess. And he got caught up. Like, my son was like 1 at the time. But the only thing, when I did something, I'd do it, but I always made sure I came home to my child. One situation, I was charged for, I guess you might well say somewhat of a violent crime. But at the same time, the situation, it played out that the person tried to rob me. I shot him with the firearm that I purchased legally that was registered. So by the time I got out, he was already what we call I ain't mean this, but hot boy. He stayed in some trouble, kicking, running, breaking people's houses, all that. So I think I did some community service or something else, and that was it. But it's still on my history. Like, ever since then, I think I lost my job in 2011. Every time I fill out an application, I get called in for an interview. Sit down, talk, we'll give you a call, and I never hear from them. It's like at first, when I walk in, I like to give, my first impression it means everything. I'm gonna come in with either, depending on where I'm going, I'm either gonna come in with my khakis, a shirt and tie, or I might come in there with a whole suit on. And so when they come in, they look at me, hey, how you doing? They approach me, talk to me. After they sit there, go through my employment, get to the section. Oh, you've been arrested. Oh, you okay? Oh, well, yeah, sir. We kind of not accepting applications. At first you get, but you're not. Now all of a sudden you're not accepting applications. TNR Ppre Forever Green. I met Rev through my father. They were doing prison ministry. They doing prison ministries together, and I met Rev through my dad. He pretty much introduced me to Rev, and Rev he was setting up, getting ready to try to set up and get everything situated, and he needed some help. So I think he had asked my father, and my father was like, ask Rasheed and see what he say. And at the time, I was waking up at 11 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, okay, sure, no problem, Rev, I got you. I ain't doing nothing else during the day. By the time, if you going job hunting, you got to be job hunting by at least 8:30, 9 o'clock. And by 12, it's time to come back home. 11:30, it's time to come home. Because everybody either going out to lunch or, so I said, okay. To be truthfully honest, there's no point of trying to sugarcoat it. That's what I did. I'm glad I don't have to anymore. But, I mean, wasn't nobody trying to hire me. Nobody was trying to give me an opportunity, and Rev saw fit to give me it. That's all someone really needs. No one is perfect. If you mess up, you mess up. As long as you learn from that situation, that's okay. When you messing up is a learning experience. That's how I look at it. I look at the way, okay, I know how to do this, don't do it again. If that person accepts what they did and knows, okay, look, what I did was wrong, I can't excuse it. I just gotta move forward and stay positive. If a person can really understand that, then if he deserves it, he deserves it. He deserves it, because I bet he gonna show you he deserves it. He got more to prove than anybody else. He got to prove something. He got to show. He's showing to himself. Me personally, I don't worry about nobody else. I prove to myself. My daddy said something to me. Well, you don't show me this, and you don't show. I said, Daddy, I love you, but I don't have to show you anything. I show myself something. I have to show me and my son something. Besides that, I don't have to prove anything to anyone. All of the above, and plus, it's also the best part about it. It's a learning experience. It's a way to grow. It's a way it's showing me a lot. Like it showed me that, like, as far as the environmental aspect, I never knew that it was like that. I never knew that you could help do something for the earth. You can help try to clean up and get paid for it at the same time. To me personally, when you can help someone when you can really help someone and get paid, that's a 2-in-1. This program has impacted my life very much. It has impacted my life by helping me take care of my child. It's been impacting my life by showing me more responsibility. My son is my responsibility, but it showed me more of just take your time. Take your time, because it took time to get everything set up. It takes time to basically to really get something started. You have to take time, and like I said earlier, sacrifice. So, but the program has helped me because it's giving me a job. It's giving me an opportunity to improve myself. It's giving me an opportunity to grow. It's giving me a second chance that I felt like nobody else wanted to give me. It was to the point where I wanted to give up until I met Rev. It was to a point where I wanted to just give up. And so any time that I can that you can get a second chance, I'm gonna take it and hold on to it for dear life and do the best that I can and some.
Ppre Forever Green is a recycling business in a sense. However, there is another component attached to it that is the not-for-profit side, and that side of it is having a holistic approach for employing returning citizens. And again, the holistic part comes in where you have the mental health component, which is offering services for them to be able to have a caseworker, or having for lack of a better words, is having someone that they could be able to talk to when need be. 2, it's employment. So the other side is financially supporting them. Offering financial support via employment. And 3, I believe there's the third side is supporting their family. They have programs. We have outlets for their families to be supported as well. So that's why we have that part as well, because not only do we care about the community via from the environmental side, which is recycling in itself, is helping clean up this earth every single day, little by little. Reduce, reuse, recycle. And so that you have that side, plus you have, again, the holistic side of returning citizens, being able to gainfully employ these individuals. So when we can help both the community in a environmental way, as well as helping them in a fiscally, and make money all the same, it's a great opportunity, and it's gonna go above and beyond.
My title is Director of Strategic Development for Thorpe Energy Services. The core of my job is to really grow opportunities within Thorpe Energy Services. So one of the first things I did is put together a joint venture partnerships with Thorpe Energy Services and Ppre Grain. I've also launched a training company called the Standard Training Institute. And I also help a lot in growing our ESCO services accounts. I felt that Ppre Grain was a good match for Thorpe Energy Services because our owner, Scott Thorpe, is very much in tune with social justice. Within the Thorpe services, we have a couple different nonprofit organizations that we run, so he doesn't have anything that's particularly geared towards re-entry, but I know he's a passionate advocate of it. So I asked him to come on down and take a look at Reverend's facility. I've worked with Reverend for about 2 years. I've repeatedly tried to help get him some funding through federal agencies, and nothing had ever panned out, but it is just such an excellent program that impacts communities so much that, you know, we just kept trying. And it was a really good match with Thorpe Energy Services because we very much are in the green industry, so we do a lot of energy efficiency, and within all of our energy efficiency programs, we have recycling responsibilities with light bulbs and appliances. So to bring in a recycling facility and start it off with the paper, plastic, aluminum, foil, it'll allow us to grow and actually do our own recycling programs for our ESCO services as well. It's just been exciting. It's taken off. We're getting a lot of recognition from a lot of states that are looking at our model and wanting to bring it into their states as well. Our initial goal is to open up facilities throughout North and South Carolina. So in all the major metro markets, we'll have a facility there, but then also to take it nationally. Right now I'm working with a team in DC who wants to stand a facility up. I'm working with a team in Indianapolis to open a facility. Then we're also working with a team in 2 different cities in Ohio. And then we've also been in conversation with the governor's office in Georgia. So there's a lot of recognition to the program. So the goal is, honestly, in all 50 states, we want to have at least 1 facility, but truthfully in every major metro market. This truly is a national workforce development initiative. So it's really important to us that we bring opportunities to reentry clientele, and most importantly that when we do, we don't bring them in at minimum wage. We give them a living wage, and then we also provide a holistic approach where we have support services for housing, legal, any type of support service somebody coming back into the communities is in need of. To me, the most important message and really the driving factor behind my pushing so hard to help Reverend Robinson make this happen is I think there's a misunderstanding, and people are always talking about prison doors opening, and those aren't the doors that need to open. I think it's the doors within communities that need to open and embrace returning citizens, because if we don't, they won't reform, and they're going to end up going back and forth, which at the end is no good for our communities. So that's the message, that as an employer, I want to start opening doors and then utilize my network to have additional companies start opening their doors as well, and understand that everybody deserves a second chance. The reality is, when you do a crime, you do receive your punishment, but it's supposed to be a finite sentence. When you're released, you're supposed to be able to be released and go back to your life, but you can't. When you have a record, that is a never-ending sentence when it comes to employment.